Man, Tabata's been here for the long run, and these leaks are definitely proving that. Not that we already didn't know that, but let's talk about the leaks first. So, the chapter begins with Yuno confronting Lucius, as we know that they were fighting in the previous chapter. And, by the way, Yuno GOAT. Oh, I gotta say. Next, Knight tweets out, Lucius tells Yuno that he, is indeed strong, but this won't be enough to stop them. And then here we have these very creepy looking legless angels appearing against the Magic Knights. In pages 2 and 3 we see them attack them, and it doesn't seem to be working at all. It's like to no avail. And Morris is saying something. Let me see. Well, before that, Knight tweets out, the other Magic Knights have become full NPCs, as they keep saying no matter what magic attributes they use against these angels, they can't do anything about them, which, I just said right now, but yeah, that seemed obvious. Before I get to Morris, Morris mumbles some gibberish, about, quote, rebels who disturb the world peace, beings who bring order. What a rational world. I'm guessing that's in reference to people who have become paladins or who will become paladins, and they're going to be the ones to bring order into the world, which, I think is pretty interesting. And pages 4 and 5, this got me like a little happy and a little like messed up, because it's Mushroom Guy, it's N, he came back, and he came back at the worst possible time. He's fighting against these legless angels. Don't do this to my man. Oh, he's just shaking and just terrified. He's sweating and everything. Yeah, and then we have Soul, and she's using her golem to try to fight against the angels. And then here we have Knight tweeting out about N, saying that he despairs a bit about how powerless they are, no matter if it's a magic knight or noble. But he says that they must fight anyways to protect the citizens. Soul also says they need to fight no matter what, and attacks her golem, which, love him. He's still fighting. He knows he has siblings he needs to protect, as well as the citizens of Clover, so of course he's going to be engaging in battle. He'll give it his all, which I thought was really cool. And next, pages 6 and 7. These are where I thought it was really cool. So, like, a bunch of fairies are appearing, like, out of, like, the blue, as we see Soul's golem confront the angel, and it's just tearing itself apart. And suddenly, from the sky, we see a bunch of what appears to be wind, or like a hurricane or whatever. And here we have Knight tweeting out, Soul's golem attack looks clearly stronger. Belle appears, explaining that this is, quote, the power of her and Yuno's love. Oh, okay. It manipulates the flow of magic power and time inside some space to make the magic of the allies stronger and the magic of the enemies weaker. So, TLDR, Yuno's magic is making it so that the Magic Knights below are actually having a fighting chance, which is insane. Yuno is doing so much to carry the Clover Kingdom and their Magic Knights to fight against these weird legless angels. Like, Yuno is doing a lot. And yeah, here we have the next panel, where it shows him and Belle using their magic together, and this is incredible. What a double spread. Oh my god. And Belle looks really different. Yeah, her hair looks longer, she looks taller. Her appearance is slightly different, I believe. The quality is a bit low, so I can't tell, but overall, this is a great spread of Yuno using his magic to help the citizens. Oh, here we go. Yuno attacks Lucius with, quote, Star, Wind, Spirit Magic, Neverland. And next, we see the Golden Dawn fight against the angels as well, which I know people like to, make fun of the Golden Dawn, but, like, I love how Klaus is here, giving it his all. Like, we saw his reaction towards Asta fight against the demon in the Clover Kingdom, and obviously this inspired him. I mean, when Asta continues to inspire him, like, every time they are engaged in a fight, and it's just so great seeing Klaus, fighting in the front lines. But, yeah, moving forward, we see, what's next? Oh, Knight, tweeting out about Klaus. He says, quote, that cheeky Kohai Jr., I have no choice but to admit it. You have the capacity to be the Wizard King. Hey, Klaus, he's accepting that his junior is practically Wizard King level at this point. He has the potential to become the next Wizard King, which is, really good praise from his subordinate. But next, this caught me off guard because Lucius trapped Yuno in his chronostasis, and I was like, oh shit, what's gonna happen next? And then, boom, Yuno just looks back, and then Night tweets out. She tweets out, Lucius traps Yuno in one of his time spells, but Yuno's able to move. Lucius, quote, the basic principle of my time magic is aging. It's magic that manipulates and speeds up the flow of time. But Yuno says, quote, in Neverland, time does not pass. And then finally in the last two panels, it shows Yuno go into his Spirit of Zephyr mode. He activates it, and it's very likely the Saint mode, and he charges against Lucius, and that's how the chapter ends. And sadly, we don't get a chapter next week, which is a shame, but as usual, I don't mind, especially the last two chapters, like, they have been incredible. But, yeah, this is really clever, and I tweeted this out, right? Tabata was pretty clever using Yuno and Belle as parallels to Peter Pan and Tinkerbell. Like, we had, pretty good ideas about this throughout the series, but we never really thought more past that. But then it all comes together with Neverland, where nobody ages. That's a really good counter against Lucius. Like, this is a fight that's definitely, like, been planned, like, for the longest. And thankfully, other people in the community are backing this up because they're looking back at the dungeon. Like, if you look back at the anime, right? And even the manga. The manga is, like, more brief, but the anime goes more into detail with it. Because when we see Yuno's fight against Mars, right, when Belle's approaching, it seems like time was stopping. And then, Belle appears. And, like, most of it just thought that, Yuno was just going really fast. Like, he was moving at extreme speeds. But, no, this is Yuno activating Neverland. I'm guessing him and Belle, his star magic being mixed with Belle's magic, made it so that he briefly activated Neverland and stopped time just enough so Belle could use her attack against Mars. We should have really paid more attention to that back then, because that is very clever. Oh my god. And then, like I said, it comes together with Neverland, because obviously if you know the story of Peter Pan and Neverland, like, all the kids there, they don't age. Peter himself doesn't age. It's incredible. I can't praise Tabata enough for that. That is very smart. Oh my god, and it's been right underneath our noses the whole time. Like, wow. And yeah, Lucius can't really do anything to really stop Yuno from, moving around. And then, in the final panel, we see Yuno get a good hit in on Lucius to the point where he makes sure that he cuts off one of his horns. So, and that's how the chapter ends. However, despite how clever I still think this is, and how advantageous Yuno looks, I don't really see him winning this fight. Like, this is very similar to when Asta was fighting against Lucius the first time. Like, things were looking in his favor, and he was talking about how, right here, right now, I'll surpass the Wizard King. And Yuno said that it's the same thing last chapter. Like, I'm the one who's going to become the Wizard King. And a few chapters later, well, actually, I think one chapter for Asta later, he got defeated by Lucius. So I'm anticipating the same thing is going to happen to Yuno. Now, I don't think it's going to happen in the next chapter. It could very well happen because, we're getting a break, so we could return to that. But I feel like maybe in the next 2, maybe 3 chapters, we could see Yuno fall against Lucius. Because, like, look at his face here. He doesn't seem phased at all. He seems heavily prepared to fight against Yuno. Like, his chronostasis didn't work. But he clearly has another ace up his sleeve. And I was talking about Josh with this, and Josh believes the same thing I do, where the Dark Triad are going to show up, and they're going to make the situation so much worse. Well, with Josh, he believes Dante's going to be the one to show up first, and, cause a lot more issues for Yuno in this fight. Though I personally believe it'll be all 3 at once, especially with Xenon having to get his little rematch against Yuno. But whether it's all 3 or 1, like, I believe the Triad will appear, and they'll make things much worse. And then other Paladins could, potentially appear as well. So, it's not looking good for Yuno. Well, it's not looking good for him later on. Like, right now, things are looking, like, marvelous. Like, it looks like he has the upper hand. But this is definitely a red herring. Like, something bad is about to happen to Yuno. And once he's defeated, I can only imagine how the citizens of Clover are going to react, because he's using his magic to help them fight back against the angels. If Yuno goes down, or I guess the more appropriate thing to say is once he goes down, what are they going to do? Like, William got practically one-shotted. Jack got one-shotted. Yami hasn't done anything yet. Charlotte hasn't done anything yet. All the other captors are probably still fighting against the Angels. And don't get me started on Nozell. Nozell is fighting against his mother right now, and I can only imagine how that's going to go. So, I can only predict that if once Yuno falls, maybe that'll be when Asta and the Black Bulls appear. Either that, or assuming Mimosa's on the battlefield, she'll probably be there to help Yuno heal up. But yeah, it's going to look really disastrous soon. And I kind of look forward to seeing that because it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be like a wild ass ride. But yeah, these leaks were really good, and it just continues to show that Tabata is just, his foreshadowing is insane, and he's just continuing to prove that he's had so much of this plan since the very beginning. Like, holy shit, Tabata, man, he never ceases to amaze me. But anyways, that'll do it for me for now. Feel free to let me know what you guys think about the leaks, and what you think is gonna happen when it comes back from the break in 2 weeks. Do you think Yuno's gonna lose in the next chapter? Or within the next 2, 3, or maybe even 5 chapters? And yeah, feel free to let me know what you thought about Neverland as well. His ability, Yuno in general, or if you think Asta's gonna show up. Just feel free to share all of your thoughts about what could happen when Black Clover comes back in 2 weeks. But yeah, that'll do it for me. Peace out, and take care, everyone.